Hey guys, today I'm here with Thad from Humanity Health CBD, and we're going to be talking about seasonal depression. Before we jump in though, Thad, tell me a little bit more about the store that you work at.
Yeah, so I work at a retail store called Humanity Health CBD. It's just west of Indianapolis in Avon. We sell hemp-derived CBD products. We also have THC products, CBN products, all the different kind of cannabinoids. At the store, I'm always preaching about how supplements are by definition supplementary, and so Emily came in one day and we kind of talked a little bit, and then I found her, social media, and I love the kind of stuff she posts, so I thought it would be a great idea for us to, get together, talk about how we can have the perfect marriage of supplements and lifestyle. So today, we're going to talk about seasonal depression and how to combat that with common knowledge.
Yep. Well, let's jump in. So today we're going to be talking about tips for seasonal depression. So seasonal affective disorder, also called SAD, SAD, is our focus today because with the winter months rolling in, the temperatures are getting colder, the days are getting shorter. A lot of people deal with seasonal depression. So we figured we would talk about some tips on dealing with that in hopes of helping you guys. We just want, again, everyone to be healthy and happy. So tip number one is to get moving. This is common when, again, as the weather gets cold, the days are getting longer and darker, people kind of just want to, curl up and not do stuff. I mean, I love curling up on the couch for a good movie too, Absolutely. But keeping moving is huge. Yeah. Even if it's going like on the off chance in Indiana, the weather's all over the place. So if it's somewhat nice, bundling up and going on a walk, joining a gym, doing a workout video, I mean, just some way of getting moving, I think is huge in order to keep the mood elevated. There's a lot of studies out there that prove that keeping moving helps with fighting off depression.
Yeah. On that note, I've heard of a study actually talking about like working out is just as effective, if not more effective, as some SSRIs in treating with depression. So that's that. I think it's been studied a couple times. It's not just like a one and done study kind of thing, which I think that's pretty crazy. Think about all you gotta do is work out a little bit, and it's just as effective as an SSRI in terms of treating depressive like symptoms. That's a little neat note to
definitely
know.
Yeah, that's huge. It's as little as finding a little space in your house and doing jumping jacks and push whatever it might be. Everyone's different, but the fact that just getting moving can have that effect is huge. I know that even myself, sometimes I struggle with when it's cold and dark and it's like, oh, do I really want to? I mean, I love fitness. I was thinking of some tips that might help, like setting out your clothes. Like if you're going to the gym, I know I've told people that before, and it's like setting out your clothes or putting the workout clothes in your car, so after the work, you're just setting yourself up for success rather than giving yourself that wiggle room to, well, no, it's like, okay, the tennis shoes in the car, my outfit's there. Exactly. I'm just gonna go ahead and go. So everyone's different.
Yeah. On that note too, I think one of the best tips I've heard to stay consistent with, like especially in the winter months and stuff like that, if you can, a lot of people out there do work early jobs and stuff like that. But if you can get up and work out first thing in the morning, me personally, I found that to be my the best tip for like long-term success with consistency, because it's so easy, after a hard day to look at those running shoes or look at your workout outfit and be like, I don't feel like doing that. And so, if you get after it first thing in the day, not only is that going to help you stay consistent, but you get those endorphin rush in the morning, and I have a very noticeable difference on the days where I work out in the morning and I don't. I'll be ready to get the day going, when I work out in the morning, and then the days I don't, it depends on the day. Sometimes I'm still feeling good and stuff like that, but oftentimes I find myself maybe a little more irritable or moody, and it's kind of wild really when I think about it, to think about the difference, on the days I work out in the morning and the days I don't. There's a huge difference.
Yeah, definitely. And everyone's different too, and I mean, and also given like work schedules. I know you said you've been getting up extra early, and so you found a routine that works really well.
For me.
I was gonna say, and I used to do after work workouts. Now I'm at like lunchtime workouts, which is today I did morning. Having that flexibility of it, just finding what works best for you. Just trying, even if it's like, okay, 3 days a week, I'm gonna, just work with yourself, maybe even write it down, to get that movement in.
Yeah, and then also like, you don't have to go and do like some crazy workout every day kind of thing. There's a lot of studies coming out that simply just like 3 times a week, of like training or weightlifting, exercising, something like that can be very, very helpful just overall dealing with these kind of symptoms of depression and then just stress and all that kind of stuff. So you don't have to go crazy, and it doesn't have to be like a hour and a half long workout. It can be simply going to the gym or like for me, for example, what I'll tell people is just go to the gym and do one exercise. Do a couple sets of it. You don't have to feel great going in there, but if you just kind of get in there and you get to it, oftentimes you'll find yourself being like, okay, I can go do something else too. It's just, just get the ball rolling. It's easier to stay consistent when you got a little nudge in the right direction that's going to keep you going. And so you don't always have to be like, I'm going to get after it today. It's not the way it has to be.
That's a good one because I feel like it does progress. And I think good music,
yes.
at least for me, like, sometimes I won't be feeling it, but I get the music on, and then by the end I'm like, what else can I do?
Yeah,
and
I'm like, oh, slow down.
Yeah, music is huge. I mean,
sure.
if you're a music person, or I feel like most people are to some extent. But
yeah.
Okay, so tip number 2, I want to talk about vitamin D, but then also kind of supplements in general. But vitamin D is a huge one because we get vitamin D. Primarily, the most natural way is from the sun, and given this time of year, we're further away. It's harder to get that good amount of vitamin D. So, like in the summer months, spring, we should be getting about 15 to 20 minutes in the sun to get the adequate amount of vitamin D. There's some foods that have vitamin D, but it's not as much as the sun. Like the best ultimate form is getting sunlight. That doesn't happen in the winter. The fish and stuff has vitamin D, of course, from the plant-based, whole food plant-based. I'm not going to recommend that because you're going to have mercury, everything else that goes along with that. Plus, to get enough vitamin D from fish, you'd have to have an awful lot of it. Milk is fortified, but that's still not like in a natural way. Mushrooms, which we were talking about the other day, those have a vitamin D. If you put them in the sunlight, that's how they get some, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Think about that.
When I first learned them, I'm like, what? Mushrooms are crazy. But so you can get vitamin D from mushrooms, but still it's not like a crazy amount to where it's going to meet the requirement. So that is one thing, because I don't supplement very much, but vitamin D in the winter, vitamin D3 is one that I supplement. So if you don't, I know that's a huge one. When I talk to people, they're like, now I'm taking vitamin D3 to help with the seasonal depression. So that's huge.
And another point about vitamin D is, you definitely want to make sure you're taking it if you feel like you're low on it. But that's something you maybe want to get checked out with a blood test or something like that. Because vitamin D is a fat soluble vitamin, and so that means when you eat it, it's not, or ingest it, it's not going to just go out through your urine. It's going to store in your fat, and so you don't want to have too much of it. Oftentimes that's not an issue because people are very deficient in it, but it's always good to recommend just making sure your levels are actually low and you're not just taking too much of vitamin D. But vitamin D is huge. I know the studies around vitamin D and treating just not only seasonal depression but just depression in general is really shocking. I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was like pretty large number of people, when they used vitamin D, their symptoms of depression overall were dramatically reduced.
And it's such an easy fix.
It's so easy.
You can get that at most grocery stores and supplement places.
Exactly.
And I actually just read a study that said about 75% of Americans are low on vitamin D. That's crazy.
For sure.
I mean, sunshine, and it makes sense. Like in the summer, everyone usually is in a better mood. In the winter, we're not getting that. That's huge. So, as far as other supplements go, what would you recommend? Because I know that you know a lot more about the other supplements.
So some other ones are like I like 5-HTP. So 5-HTP, it's one of the I believe it's a precursor to the hormone serotonin. So serotonin is a feel-good hormone. It's going to if you have healthier levels of it, it's going to make you feel better. So a lot of the symptoms of depression is not feeling good, so you can kind of combat that with healthier levels of serotonin. Believe it or not, there's some studies to show that CBD may also help regulate some serotonin levels. So if you feel like that might be an issue, I'm not saying to if you are someone who suffers from, and let's say it's like a diagnosis of like low serotonin or something like that, I would not go and just start taking supplements, talk to your doctor. But if you're like wanting to play around with it, if you're interested in stuff like that, something like 5-HTP would be a great supplement to use to help maybe increase or balance out some serotonin levels along with CBD and other cannabinoids. I personally do like to use, in the winter months, I am using CBD, not only CBD, but CBDA, which is the acid form of it. It's not only good for, maybe that's serotonin regulation, but it's also a really good immune booster because CBDA is the raw form, and that's what's actually in the plant of, hemp or cannabis, and its job in the plant is to actually help boost the plant's immune system. So it does a similar thing for us whenever we ingest it, and so that's kind of some other supplements I've been taking in these winter months to help not only boost my resilience to SAD, but also this immune system as well. So that's kind of my little supplement facts.
Awesome. And magnesium. You were talking off camera about that. That's another important one.
Yeah, magnesium's huge. It's I think the stat I saw was like 40% of Americans are deficient in magnesium, and magnesium is responsible for like up to 400 functions in the body. A lot of those being muscular functions, but just 400 of them. It's going to go a long way if you take a little magnesium each day to help build your resilience to the symptoms of SAD, and then also it's going to help with a lot of other things.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, number 3, prioritize self-care. I feel like this is a huge one people overlook. Especially females a lot of times, like moms and stuff, taking care of everyone else. Not that you
I get it. I get what you're saying though, for sure.
I'm not a mom, but I'm a dog mom. It's just there's so much going on that it's easy to not put ourselves first, but self-care is huge for so many different things, but especially in these winter months, if you just kind of, and just like go into it rather than what's going to make me happy. Okay, I like drawing. I like whatever is, physically, emotionally, spiritually, anything like that, whatever is going to put you in a better mood and a better spot is going to help your mood and your, fighting that seasonal depression.
Absolutely. A quote I like to always tell people is, you can't pour from an empty cup. So especially if you are like a caretaker, if you are a mom or if you're someone who has to take care of some relatives or something like that, that can be a lot of extra stress that can maybe also lead to, SAD being more pronounced for that individual. And so if you make sure you take care of yourself, you can take care of others better. So that's something that, like you said, it's not just to mothers and stuff like that, but if you're anyone like that who's like oftentimes trying to help other people out, is you need to focus on yourself sometimes. That way you can truly help other people more.
Definitely. Just kind of doing some reflection because, excuse me, sometimes when I tell people or talk to people, it's like, I don't even know. What do I want to do? You know what I mean? It's like we're so busy. Our lives are busy anyway. We're taking care of other people. We don't even know what makes us happy. So just doing a little internal thinking of, well, I do really like to be artistic. What might I want to do? Or, just taking the time for you. You do you, boo. Recently I was introduced to a really great practice. It's called your ideal day or your perfect day. And so if you just write down, say one day if you have nothing to do, just sit there and for however long it takes you, just sit and write out how your perfect day would be. Obviously you can't maybe get all that on there, but look at it and then maybe pick one thing from there that you might be able to introduce into your daily routine. And you'll be surprised, you might get closer to that ideal day than you think was even possible. That's a great exercise. I like that.
Yeah. It's taking that time to be cognizant of it and then actually putting it into action for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Next, staying social. Again, with it getting colder and darker, we tend to stay home more, which is totally fine, but with COVID and everything, we found more unique ways to communicate with people. So it doesn't always have to be face-to-face. Maybe it's phone calls, getting on FaceTime, whatever it might be. We're social creatures, and if we're just isolated, me time is always good, but we need that social interaction. We need to catch up with friends and loved ones. And I think that's something also that's often overlooked when life gets busy. But it's huge, especially dealing with SAD.
I know I don't know, I keep bringing up statistics, but one other thing I saw a study was talking about how the human, any human I guess you could say, is it requires 12 human touch a day to get growth, and then you think about it, how often do you, and it doesn't have to be anything crazy intimate or anything like that, but a hug or a handshake or just a simple pat on the back or something like that. Those interactions actually will increase those feel-good hormones in your body. That oxytocin. I might be mispronouncing that, but that's the feel-good hormone. That's the hormone you get whenever you get a hug. You get that hormone released in your body, and that's actually going to help combat the symptoms of SAD once again.
Something I was reading about that with the hug. I think it was like 9 seconds, something like that. It was like a second mark of hugs.
Yeah.
So whoever you're living with, even you might kind of get in our own worlds and stuff. But like, hey, come over here, give me a hug.
Yeah, and it doesn't have, like I said, it doesn't have to be weird or anything like that. It's just just there's little things like that can help increase the quality of the day for sure.
Definitely. I know one of my good friends, we walk all the time. Like in the summer, we always meet and walk, and when it gets cold, we meet at the gym and walk on treadmills and talk.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So it's like, it's literally, I'm like, we never go out to eat. We never do anything besides walk and talk. Yeah. But I'm cool with that because we're checking off the number one, get moving, and we're talking. Yeah. So yeah, maybe you haven't seen a friend in a while and you don't have to get treadmills to walk on to, but go on, when it's nice, somewhat nice, we'll bundle up and walk and talk, but just making an effort to stay social.
Absolutely.
All right, point number 5, and this is one I know that you have a little more experience with, but trying a light therapy or dawn simulators. So we were talking the other day, and you mentioned your light therapy that you've started. So light, it's supposed to kind of simulate sunlight, so you're getting the light in, you're seeing it visually. There's a lot of science there and stuff. So I'll let you take this one.
So in my experience, I have this little lamp. I don't remember exactly what kind of light it gives off, but it's supposed to simulate some kind of sunlight or like a spectrum of that. And I use it every morning. When I get up, I just throw it on. It's this super bright light. I don't look directly in it or anything like that. I just kind of have it on in the room, and then I see it naturally as I do my morning routine or whatnot. And I've noticed a huge difference in terms of not only my mood in the mornings, but my energy in the morning. I feel like it kind of gets my cortisol spike activated a little earlier in the day. So cortisol is an energizing hormone, and naturally we have some spikes of that throughout the day. But I feel like I get mine a little earlier, and then it also I feel like it lasts a little longer, and that might just be anecdotal, but I still think it's good to take note of. So yeah, I think not only that, like that kind of light, but like red light therapy, if you have access to that, there's a lot of good studies that show that red light therapy can be really helpful. And you want to make sure it's like true red light, not like just a light bulb that's red. Because the red light, why it might help some people is it actually, the wavelength of that red light penetrates the skin and actually gets into these cells that it's shining on. So it will get into the cells and actually make your mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell, that one, make more ATP, which is how our body utilizes energy. It's ATP. That's what energizes us. And so if you have more ATP in your cells, you can therefore, feel better overall throughout the day, deal with things a little easier and that kind of stuff, which I thought was pretty cool because, it's just light, but it makes a big difference.
Yeah, it seems so simple, but it's huge. And you think of where evolution of where we came, where we were outside all the time with sunlight, and that's again what you're talking about with the rhythm, the daylight, that's how we know to get up and go to bed and stuff. And when it's winter, it doesn't get the light till, I don't know, like 9 or something crazy. And it's like we need to wake up the brain and get started. So that's where light, and I'm kind of considering getting, I mean, there's no downside to doing light therapy.
Right, I get up most mornings at 5 in the morning, and I just, obviously I'm tired when I first get up, but I find myself ready to go within like 10-15 minutes, whereas I feel like before it took me a solid hour to my body to kind of wake up and get moving. And so I think that's something, if you're interested in a little extra stuff like that, it makes a difference for me, I feel.
That's awesome. Yeah. And on the same category as light therapy, dawn simulators, I was doing some research. So I don't think either of us have personal experience with it.
I have an alarm clock that does this. I guess I kind of do. I kind of forgot you said that. My bad. My alarm clock. I just got it off of Amazon. It was like $50 or something like that. But it's like this little circle. And what it actually does is, I think about 20 minutes before I set my alarm, it starts to gradually get lighter and lighter, to the point where I'll wake up before my alarm really goes off, because you kind of see the light. I guess you're sleeping, but you kind of see the light, and it wakes you up. And then mine also, it has like a subtle bird chirping as
that's nice.
Yeah, it's super pleasant to wake up to, because I don't feel like if you have your alarm set in your phone, that's like that. You wake up and you're you're just stressed. Yeah, but with this way, I feel like I start my morning just feeling a lot more relaxed. I'm not feeling like I'm fight or flight right off the get-go. I can kind of allow my body to wake up naturally with that sunlight. I like it a lot more, me personally.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's just such a more natural way. That's dawn simulated.
Yeah.
Simulating dawn.
Yes.
It's in the name. I don't have to say anything else, but yeah. Sure. Crazy the such simple things make such a big difference. Last but not least, don't be afraid. So tips. Last but not least, don't be afraid to talk to a doctor. So we're here to provide some tips. Not everything works for everyone. I think these are incredibly helpful, what we've talked about so far. But sometimes you just need to talk to a professional, get some guidance. Sometimes medication might be needed. Never want to recommend that. I think both of us are pretty similar with that, like finding alternatives. But your doctor is specialized in that. So if you're really struggling, don't be afraid to talk to your doctor.
Yeah, talk to a doctor or just talk to someone. It's oftentimes people, I guess we kind of should talk about this at the beginning, but like a lot of people don't realize that they are suffering from SAD sometimes. They just think, oh, it's the winter, I just feel like crap. And it's like, no, like your brain chemistry might be off a little bit. And so, you might just want to talk to someone about how you might feel. And then maybe if it's severe enough, you do want to go talk to a professional and get professional help about it, because it's nothing to take light. It's definitely something that people struggle with. And sometimes, like I said, they don't even know they're struggling with it. So be vocal about it.
Yeah, definitely. And with seasonal affective disorder, you're not alone. I mean, a lot of people deal with it. Hopefully these tips will help.
I mean, me personally, I definitely deal with it. It's something that I struggle with every winter. It's like I feel myself, like I just feel a little down, and it's a natural thing to happen. It's a natural part of life. We have seasons, not only like winter, summer, and all that, but seasons in your mental health, for lack of a better term for it. And so it's definitely something that's natural. So don't feel like you're alone. It happens. So just do your best to deal with it, and then talk to other people if you need to.
Yeah, definitely. Give these tips a try. Good luck, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.
See you.